Well, today I have my good friend Maria in from Long Beach.
I have my good friend Jay.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Where are you from, Jay?
Me?
Yeah.
Originally or now?
No, originally.
Oh, Queens, Forest Hills.
Okay.
Yes. Where are you from originally?
I lived in Merrick for 1 year.
Really?
Yeah. I was born in East Meadow at Nassau County Medical Center.
Huh.
I was actually born half in the Volvo.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks early.
And a vulva.
I was ready.
Okay.
I was ready to come in the blue Volvo. I was. And I moved to Long Beach when I was exactly a year old.
Really?
So am I considered a Long Beach local?
Well, you're a local, but you're not a native.
Right. I technically wasn't born there. I wasn't born there.
You got robbed for the 1 year.
I moved there when I was a year old.
Interesting.
And the Volvo came with us.
All right. Very, very cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, today, thanks for coming in
Thank you for having me.
to see the space.
I know. I love it.
And
It's
then-
beautiful.
And we're testing it out today.
Yeah.
And I think everyone knows you're like a famous storyteller.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about something that you haven't told me yet.
That's right.
So this is going to be
This is
a
real.
surprise.
Yeah. This is real.
Well, I'm excited
Are you nervous?
and afraid at the same time. So, I don't know. Do you want to just roll right into it and let me know?
Yes. I'm so excited to tell you this story. I'm so excited to see your reaction to it.
Okay.
If I had a real podcast about this, but I only have one episode, so I can't talk about it beyond this one episode, but it would be called 23 and Not Just Me.
Oh no.
Do you know what 23andMe is?
I do. I've never done one before, but maybe you want to tell everybody in case they don't know, but I'm sure they know.
Okay. It's the DNA. It's a DNA test.
Okay.
It like goes with ancestry. It goes along with all that stuff. So basically there was a family on YouTube I was watching. They've adopted like 16 kids.
Jesus.
And they do a lot of 23andMe. And they always have like promos and discount codes. So it was the middle of the pandemic. I'd been home for, how many months were we home before we could be around people again?
At least 6.
Right.
8.
So it was during that. I'd purchased a guitar. I bought a bunch of puzzles.
How'd that go?
It didn't go that far. But I got 23andMe
Okay.
because I thought, what better time to connect with my Irish relatives? I'm half Nicaraguan.
Huh.
I'm half Irish.
Interesting.
I thought there's going to be a lot of people in Ireland that live in little stone houses that have fat Shetland ponies. I'm going to become pen pals with them. And then when the pandemic is over, I'm going to go get to visit my new family in Ireland that has been long lost.
Did we find out where these people are? Or is that, am I getting ahead of myself?
We never found them.
Okay.
I just assumed. Where are you from? Where is your family from?
Well,
Like past America.
like sprinkled around like Russia, Poland,
Right.
that neck of the woods.
I never knew of any relatives that I had in Ireland. I know a lot of my relatives in Nicaragua. They've been here to visit a bunch over the years.
Right.
I figured what could go wrong? Obviously, I had family in Ireland, right? There must be people related to me. My great-grandfather came from Ellis Island.
My father went through Ellis Island.
Did he?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And
Did you keep the same last name?
They couldn't spell it, so they chopped it off without even asking us.
What was it?
That's a whole nother story
All right.
for another day.
Well, we were O'Gallagher,
Oh,
and we became Gallagher.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this is where I was going with it. I thought, I've never tapped into Ireland. These people on YouTube, they're called Crazy Pieces, the ones who adopted all the kids. I was like, I'm going to find out who my Irish relatives are, and then we're going to have a great life. And then I'm going to I have the time now
Right.
to get to know all these relatives in Ireland.
Have you been to Ireland?
No,
Really?
really. I hadn't been there, but this was going to, we were planting the seeds. I know my family's from County Leitrim. Have you been to Ireland?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah. Have you been to County Leitrim?
What part of Ireland? Yeah, because see, I just know from like the surfing world. So I flew into Dublin and then went all the way to the coast to like Sligo and
Right.
Donegal County, but all the way on the other coast.
I forgot to turn my cell phone off. I'm
That's
so
okay.
sorry.
No, it's all right.
It might be.
Is anybody good?
No. It wasn't.
Oh, but I could tell you just from like hanging out there, like me and Will were there for like probably about a month once.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was cool. I mean, listen, it's beautiful, but you have to get used to not seeing the sun for a while because the days are short. The sun is only up for so long, and then it's normally cloudy and rainy.
Well, that's what it was like here when we had the smoke the other day.
Right, but it was like that for like 29 straight days, and then we had like 2 days of sun at the very end of the trip.
Did you see ponies? Did you see fat Shetland ponies?
I don't know if they were ponies, but I saw a ton of like donkeys and pigs
sheep.
and a lot of animals.
Yeah, that was what I was excited for. It was like, this is going to be my life. I'm going to go meet my family in Ireland, and this is going to be great. I wanted to spend my life the way you guys spent those 30 days in Ireland.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So I get my 23andMe kit, and you spit into the tube, and you send it away. And you have to check the box that says you might find out things that you may not be prepared to find out. Do you want us to store your DNA? It's like it's very dramatic. And I was like, yes, please. I want everybody to know I'm related to them. It's going to be great. Let's go.
Oh, no.
So it comes back a couple weeks later, and, it says you have 1,500 relatives, something like that. Because it does like third, fourth, fifth cousins. You share 0.05 DNA with these people. Said, you probably have brown eyes. You probably have celiac disease. I do. You probably are half Nicaraguan and half Irish. Like that. I was like, well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, you probably like cats.
Yeah, it said all of that on there. It did not say you have relatives that live in stone houses with Shetland ponies.
That's awful.
I know. So I went about my life. Everything was fine. We carried on. Nothing happened. And I was like, okay, great. A year later, I'm just walking around minding my peas and carrots one day, and I get an email, and I'm locked out of my 23andMe because I forgot the password. I never logged back into it. I was like, whatever.
Right.
The email says, hi, my name is such and such, and I'm searching for my biological father, and it says, you're my half-sister. Are you available to discuss this with me?
Huh.
And I was just like, absolutely not. No. Okay. No,
okay.
Right? I mean, how would you feel if you got an email and someone was like, I'm your sister?
Hey, well, listen, you're the one that put your DNA on that website, so,
Well, the other thing was my dad had died 5 years ago. At this point, it's 7 years now, but he died. So I was like, no. But the thing about 23andMe is it's DNA. So it's not like we matched through having like last names and stuff like that.
I know. I get it. It's like
you know how all the cousins say it's like 0.05 whatever?
Right.
Okay, well, hers said that we shared 25% DNA, that of a half sibling.
Interesting.
So I was like, no, it can't possibly be, but we share DNA. So what am I supposed to do?
Right.
What would you do?
I mean, I guess if I was into that, I'd be like, I guess, yeah, let's talk. But, I've never even wanted to put my DNA.
You don't want to know, right?
I don't know. I just feel weird putting my DNA out there.
Yeah, because the government has it, right?
It's not even the government. I just feel like nothing's secure in this world. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like, hey, here, hold all, the secrets to my whole being.
Yeah.
You random website. And let me just know some other schmucks I don't want to know. Well, where's the, I don't know.
Okay, well, I panicked. I panicked right away.
All right.
And I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And I wanted to call my dad and talk to him about it, but I couldn't.
Okay.
So I tell her, she's found me on Facebook now because I didn't answer the email. I'm sorry, I'm choking on my seltzer that I just had.
It's okay.
She sends me a message on Facebook because my 23andMe photo is the same as my Facebook photo,
so
and
she's breadcrumbing you.
it says my name. So I was like, what do I care? Who do I? I'm a public social media. Like,
yeah, you're a superstar.
yeah, like I can't hide even if I want to. So she sends me a message and she says the same thing. And I said,
stop running.
Exactly. And I figured it was a bot. At that point, I figured it was a bot. I thought there's no way that there's a person that I'm related to. And I quickly look at her Facebook and it says she's old. She's like born in 1968. I'm born in 1987. And that she lives in Oklahoma. And I was like, no, there's no way. So I text my uncle, my dad's little brother. And I don't really talk to him that much. He lives really far away and he's whatever. I sent him a text message and I said, hey, this lady's sending me messages. She says that she's daddy's daughter and she lives in Oklahoma. That's all I said.
And he's like, oh, what's her name?
And he says, I don't know anything about Johnny having a daughter, but he was on the loose in Oklahoma from 1966 to 1969, stationed in the Army in Fort Lawton.
Oh, my God.
And I hadn't told him that I saw on her Facebook that she was born in 1968.
She's your sister.
Yeah. So I just like all the blood drained from my soul. And I was just like,
wait a second. So did you speak to her?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I send her a message back and I was like, all right, you can hit me up because I need to know that you're a real person because I felt like someone was messing with me.
That's so crazy. So she never knew her father?
I guess not. I didn't know at this point. I didn't know anything. All I knew was I was so close with my dad that I was like, if you have anything bad to say about my father, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I don't know if this woman's going to say, you abandoned me. I don't know if she's going to...
I wonder if he even knew.
I don't know. I had no idea. It was crazy.
It's a good story. Keep going.
I know. So she sends me the Facebook message and I said, I want to talk to you on the phone now because I was like, I'm not doing this back and forth with the emails. I want to talk to you right now. I don't know what she wants from me. She could be a crackhead for all I know. No idea what her motive is or why she's involved or why are you searching for your biological father?
Maybe she's lonely.
Maybe. So she sends the phone number on Facebook and I FaceTime her right away. And she goes, I'm not like ready to be on camera or something like that. Like, I don't want to be on camera. And I was like, no, I need to see your face so that I know you're a real person.
Older folks don't like FaceTime.
I guess not.
Yeah.
She's not that old. She just seemed old.
Technology. Older folks that, you know.
Kimmy, forgive me. You're not old even a little bit.
Just saying. I feel like if you're over 40, FaceTime like isn't like.
Well, we FaceTime. We FaceTime.
Okay.
So we get on the FaceTime. She looks
like you.
Exactly like my father.
Okay.
No, I don't look like daddy. I'm half Nicaraguan and half Irish. I look adopted. I look Italian. Everybody thinks I'm Italian.
All right, that's the next episode.
Right.
Okay.
She looks just like my father. And when she answered the FaceTime, it was like looking at a ghost and it freaked me out so bad. I was like, it literally took my breath away because she was like just looking around like this. And I was like, stop, because it looked like an AI of my dad.
Jesus.
It was so crazy. And I still couldn't call him and tell him. So I get her on the phone and I was like, so I can't help you because my dad died and I don't know what else I can give you beyond that. And she said, yeah, I know all about that. And I was like,
oh, okay.
Is there an online obituary that you found or something?
She wants you.
Yeah, right. It's definitely a true crime podcast in the making. That's my favorite thing to listen to. So I knew for sure that I was either going to get killed or robbed.
She wants to be your friend.
I didn't think so at that point.
Maybe she's lonely, looking for family.
So I ask her, what's your deal? And she says like 150 miles an hour because she knows I'm probably going to hang up the phone and never talk to her again. So she only had one shot and she's got me on the phone.
Right.
So she says so fast. She's like, my name is Kim. I'm married. I have 2 kids. They're this age. I own 2 businesses. I have money. I don't need anything. I have 9 dogs. Like this whole thing, like bam, 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 bam. Because she was afraid I was never going to talk to her again. And she was like, I don't need anything. And she said, my mom is pregnant. She never told my biological father that she was pregnant. He never had any idea. I don't need anything. I don't have any bad stories. I just wanted to know who he was. Like, period. And I was like, all right, well, there isn't really anything for me to argue with then, right?
Right.
what could you say back? So I was like, all right, as long as you don't need money and as long as you're not going to say your dad sucks and he abandoned us, I was like,
all right, what's up?
All right, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, it was like that. So we talked on the phone for like 3 hours right then and there. Because once I knew, and then for all I knew, she could have been a lunatic. But I was like, I'm pretty open, I'd like to think. Right? Do you think I'm open?
I think you're pretty open.
I think I'm pretty open.
Yeah, here we are.
So she talks to me for 3 hours and she tells me just that her mom got pregnant. She never told my dad. And I was like, well, why would she never tell my dad? And she was like, who cares? It was it was 1968. Things were a little different. Right. The secrets of the 60s and the 70s are coming out. And her mom died at that point like 12 years ago. So our parents weren't involved.
Right.
But it was weird because not only did I have to deal with this new person, I didn't know. I always joked with my dad. I was like, you definitely have more kids. And he was like, why do you think I have more kids? I was the product of his third marriage. He was a very good looking man. And I watched a lot of ladies chase him.
Wowee.
He called it the Gallagher curse. So I figured it wasn't far off that somebody got pregnant and that they didn't tell him. I don't know. I don't know what happened. None of us know. We never find out what happened.
Interesting. But we do know that he didn't know.
We know for sure that he didn't know, because if you knew my father, and what was so hard was I had to convince her of that. I said, had you ever found us? Had you ever shown up on our doorstep? He's probably one of the only people who would have been really excited. Like, you'd probably have a heart attack if someone knocked on your door right now and said that they were your kid, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Wouldn't happen, but yeah, probably.
You never know.
Yeah, you do never know. This is true.
You never know.
It's also not 1965.
It was 1968, and stuff like this happens every single day.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah, I guess.
So he would have been excited. My dad was an anomaly. He would have really embraced her and been so excited. He would have been devastated that he didn't know. He would have been devastated. That was the thing, is I felt so bad that we didn't know about her. And she was like, no. I had a stepfather that raised me. He was amazing. I had really good father figures in my life. I had great grandparents.
Where does she live again?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Have you been to Oklahoma?
I don't think so. Have you ever been to Oklahoma?
No.
Are you going to Oklahoma?
I would love to go to Oklahoma. It's tough to get there. They just now started doing direct flights to Oklahoma, but it's like a tough hike. It's a tough place to get to.
You should go.
I want to go. You should go. We can go and do part 2 of the podcast with Kimmy.
Or we could do like one of those catfish episodes where you walk up to the house.
Yeah, we can do that. But she's real. I've met her.
That's so funny.
I've met her. So basically, we went from there, and I let her know that I was really close to my dad, and if she had anything to do that was going to traumatize me or be upset about, I was like, I really just I can't be a part of it then. And I think it worked because she is such a grown-up. She's so mature. But I hear a lot of 23andMe stories, and they're not good. Do you know anybody else who's had a 23andMe situation?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We'll find out after this episode airs.
Yeah. It's fun. Like, maybe I would do one, but I don't know. Life's hard enough. You know?
I told Kim that there are for sure other siblings that we have. I was like, I know, there has to be. There has to be. Why wouldn't there be? Right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. If there's one, why not 2?
Why not 7?
Right.
There's got to be more. So I told her, look, I got really, really, really lucky with her. She's amazing. She was more like, she came in and was definitely very maternal, and she felt very bad for me because I had to mourn the death of my father all over again. And it was weird because the whole time I just wanted to talk to him and tell him and say, how did we miss this? And I knew he would be upset. I knew he would adore her and be so proud of her and so excited of like just who she is, who his grandchildren are. My nephew's a doctor and my niece just runs all of Oklahoma. She's 2 years younger than me and my nephew's like 5 years younger than me. But they're really impressive people. Plus the fact that she has all of these dogs is just hilarious because I was like, what would we talk about? What would we talk about if she wasn't an animal lover?
Right. Cats.
Not even. No, not even. Cats like that were at your bat mitzvah.
Exactly. Next.
On the next episode.
Next episode.
Yeah.
The world's not ready for that.
I know. So we got really lucky. We got really, really lucky. And from that day, we FaceTimed almost every single day, just catching up on life. And the thing is, their side of the story is she always knew he was missing. She was always curious about who he was. And they found my social media pretty quickly because my name was my full name on 23andMe. So they had gone, her and the kids went through my entire Instagram before she ever spoke to me. So I had nothing to go by. I didn't know that something was missing. I didn't know that somebody was missing. But she found her missing piece. And I was like, I didn't know we had a missing piece.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And then she thought that she was like, oh, I never thought about having a sibling. Like I never considered. I was like, why? That's so random. Why wouldn't you think that you had siblings if you had a missing parent? She said, I don't know. I just never really thought about it. And she moved on pretty quickly. She had a lot of questions about my dad in the beginning. And I shared all of the pictures and I shared all of the stories that I could. And then she moved on very quickly to like, wow, I have a baby sister now. And that's amazing. And we lived happily ever after. She came to Long Beach last year.
Oh, so really? So you met her?
Yes. She came.
That's pretty crazy.
She sent me we FaceTime every single day, basically. We don't FaceTime as much now because she works more than I do, if you can believe it. But she does. She does. She works a lot. What was that like snarl? You think I don't work?
Oh, no. Sorry. I had something in my throat. In my nose.
Monster.
No, you're good.
I work.
You work a lot.
You work a lot. I work so much. So she came out. I was having a freak out and I didn't feel good and I was freaking out that whole week. And then she texted me and she said, would it make you feel better if I came out this weekend? And I was like, yes. I needed her. I needed to see her. I needed her.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Actually.
And she came out to Long Beach. I picked her up from the airport. She got an Airbnb in Long Beach around the corner from my house because I was like, what if we don't like each other? What if it's different in person?
True.
What's it going to be like?
That's a good plan. All right.
Yeah. So she got the Airbnb. And when I saw her, it was still, it was the same because I think it helped that we'd FaceTimed. I can't imagine if this happened in the 90s. Like, what do you do? Write a letter back and forth and send a Polaroid?
Well, you would have never found each other.
But let's say that we did. How would you communicate that whole time and catch up? You know how many letters it would have taken to catch up?
Well, I mean, we still had the telephone. We still could have talked on the phone,
Yeah, but I mean the pictures and stuff of like those would have all been in the letters.
Yeah, pictures and letters, but yeah, you could have spoke on the phone.
Not on the FaceTime though.
No, just regular.
Did people send you letters in the 90s? Your grandparents, did you send them letters?
You mean actual mail? Yeah, I got mail.
Yeah, but did you ever have to like send a picture from like a party or like a wedding or something happen?
Yeah, of course. I had to go to the store. I had to get it developed. I had to wait like a couple days to get them developed.
Yeah, I did that too. That's what I'm saying. How could we possibly describe to each other what we look like or what our situation is?
I don't know.
Without the social media aspect.
This is true. I just feel like that's why all these things come together. Like 23andMe, FaceTime, it's all.
So I picked her up and I took her to Long Beach, and the poor woman's, you know what, the best pasta dish she's ever had in her entire life?
Don't tell me it was Gino's.
It was Five Ocean.
Oh.
Five Ocean's really good, But I was like, I'm concerned about what the food is like in Oklahoma if the best pasta you've ever had in your entire life is from Five Ocean.
All right, everybody watching this, please Google cuisine in Oklahoma. Let me know what they're famous for.
Oh my God. I think they're famous for barbecue. Blake Shelton has a great restaurant there because she sent me a sweatshirt from there. It's my favorite sweatshirt. Blake Shelton has like a sick estate in Oklahoma.
Really?
We should go. Do you know him?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, but do you know him?
I don't know him personally.
He hasn't come to American Dream to surf yet?
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, if you got French Montana, you can definitely get Blake and Gwen out here.
True.
And then we can go to the farm.
And then we can get some barbecue.
And I would finally get that satisfaction of being with like all the ponies and the donkeys and the goats and all the stuff I wanted to see in Ireland.
It's kind of crazy how you started this whole thing thinking you were going to Ireland and you end up Oklahoma.
Pretty close. Pretty close, right?
That's pretty funny. I don't know if that's better or worse.
You know what was so bad? All of quarantine, I kept saying to all of our friends, everyone was so depressed and anxious. And I kept saying to everyone, guys, we're fine. We have the ocean. We have a really good life. Imagine the people that live in Oklahoma. And I only used that state over and over and over. And I kept saying, imagine there are people that are landlocked that live in Oklahoma. What are those folks doing?
I'm actually Googling. Yeah, you're right. Oklahoma barbecue.
Name the, what does it say?
It says here, famous for Sooner steak, fried onion burger, chicken fried steak, tamale pie.
Is that a Southern
fries.
accent?
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. When I read the words biscuits and gravy, I just want to say it that way.
Biscuits and gravy.
Yep. 11 famous
I'm allergic
foods.
to all of it. I can't eat any of it anyway.
Well, I could eat it all.
Yeah. Well, so maybe we need to take a trip to Oklahoma. Is there any good surf there? Can we get Will to come?
Don't worry, I don't surf.
Yeah, but, if we have to make it a business trip so we can expense it, we either have to find real estate or surfing.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you know this, but Oklahoma is like dead ass in the middle of the country. There's no ocean.
Yeah.
But,
I know, but you guys surf by like the Statue of Liberty and ponds and fountains.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we can make it work.
You could find, listen, you guys found a mall and said we could surf here.
That is true.
In a wave pool.
That is true.
You could find water and make it work.
Okay.
So when she got here, I made her try. I took her on like the Long Beach tour. We didn't do the city or anything like that. But I took her to Jordan's Lobster. I made sure she had a good first lobster roll. I took her to have a bagel and she was like, oh, I don't really like bagels. I don't really want to have. And I was like, I know, but you just have to taste it just to taste it. And when I gave her the bagel, she like ripped off a piece of it and she took a bite of it. And I thought she was going to spit it. I thought she didn't like it. She looked completely confused. And I was like, where's this going to go? Yeah, worse. Like a.
It was good or bad?
I couldn't tell.
Oh.
So I was like, you good? And she was like, why is the center like fluffy? And I was like, it's because the poor thing, she'd never had a real bagel before. Thank God.
That's crazy.
Yeah. She's given me
I wonder what they do for breakfast.
They have food. They eat eggs and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Waffle House.
She's not redneck. She lives in a sick house.
Waffle House.
No, she doesn't eat Waffle House. She cooks. Her husband, do you know what her husband does? He owns a gigantic dispensary and he cooks
marijuana.
Yeah. Basically. And neither one of them smoke or ingest or take any of it. He's just a smart businessman and he jumped on that.
Never get high on your own supply.
That's right. That's right. They don't. So they cook all the stuff and they like infuse food and they make all sorts of candy bars and lollipops and gummies.
Interesting.
All the good stuff.
All right.
So I have a sister in Oklahoma. She's 19 years older than me. They own a dispensary. They eat barbecue. She had her first Long Island bagel, and now she's got a baby sister, and it's me.
That's really awesome. So not from Ireland, not going to Ireland, but American, Oregonian.
Well, I mean, she's Irish because we're from Ireland.
Oklahoman, sorry.
Oklahomian, I think it is.
Okay, my bad.
Right?
That's a pretty cool story. I'm kind of like, I almost feel like I want to do one now, but I know there's no one out there. So
Yeah, but what if
there's nobody out there. My father came over to this country and he was already like, he wasn't a grown up, but he was like still like a child who spoke no English. You know?
Where did he come from?
They came from somewhere in Poland, but I mean, there's nobody out there. This is it.
It's a very small world.
This is it, man. You're looking at one of the last two Belskys.
Listen, I thought I was one of the last 3 Gallaghers, and I'm not. I have a whole nother family that I didn't know about.
It's a good last name, though.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to convince whoever my husband is to keep it.
He'll take your name, or you got to hyphenate?
No, I don't want to hyphenate. I want to keep it.
Okay.
My grandfather had like 5 sisters. There were 7 siblings altogether. My grandfather, a brother, and 5 sisters. So we lost the last name. My dad's got 24 first cousins, and none of them are Gallagher.
That's
like
crazy.
2 of them are, because all the women changed their name. Not into it.
Yeah. All right.
What a treat that somebody found out that they had a little sister and it was me.
That was a good story.
That's a whimsical person to find as a little sister, right?
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. But honestly, she filled a void that I guess I didn't really know
Right.
was there or missing, because she has the ability to bounce back and forth between being like super maternal and then like a very fun sister.
Gotcha.
So sometimes she's my age and sometimes she's like my mom.
That's really nice.
Yeah. I have nothing bad to say about her. We've never had a fight. All good stuff.
Well, and real quick, because my brain is a little fried. When did this whole thing start? Like, when did you first meet her again? Like, how long ago? Like the first.
So this past May was our 2-year.
Oh, okay.
2-year anniversary of
knowing,
getting in touch.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's it. That's my story.
Well, that's a great story.
So we're ready for more people to tell us their stories of 23andMe. A lot of people don't tell them because they find out stuff they don't want to talk about.
Right.
This stuff ruins families. You got to be careful when you check that box. There's a little box that you can check or not check.
That's crazy. Do you know? I forgot who it was. Maybe it was one of the Kardashians. I heard it on the news recently.
Yeah.
Like, one of them did a 23andMe, and it said there was a 97% match that she had a sister. Maybe it wasn't one of the Kardashians, but it was someone like super famous, like a girl or a woman, and it said she had a 97% match
to a sister. Well, that would mean it would have to be both parents.
Right. So then it ends up that they, like 10 years ago, like there was part of a show or something.
Yeah.
They all did 23andMe's, but they did it like under a different name. So she was really just matching with herself.
Oh.
How crazy is that?
I think we should do one for you.
I don't want to do one.
Why not?
I'm not doing one.
Let's do it.
The world's not ready.
I'm ready for it. I'll manage it. If anybody wants to do a 23andMe and they want me to be the mediator, I'm here for it.
All right. Well, I think this went really well, and I appreciate the story. This episode was not sponsored by 23andMe.
It was not sponsored by 23andMe. Absolutely not.
But if they're interested,
we have a good story.
Slide into the DMs.
Yeah. Send us a message. Kimmy and I will tell our story.
I love that.
Thanks, Jay.
All right,
You're a good friend.
You're a good friend, too.
Thanks for listening to all my crazy stories.
No, anytime. And
I have good stories, don't I?
You do. Thanks for coming all this way.
It was a long trek over the bridge to the big island.
It was a long trek.
Yeah.
To the mainland.
Yeah.
All right, well.
It was worth it.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Bye.